What are some things I would personally change about Atomfall, or things that I would like to see added to the game? First, let's go over changes. I think this one will be pretty quick. So, for changes, I would like to see the Leamington have better spread so that it has a use case. Currently, it is just outclassed by the broadside for the most part. In some instances, it can randomly kill at range, like farther than the broadside, but it does depend on the randomness of the shot spread. I would make the broadside stay. I would keep this as like the kind of medium spread, have the easterly be the high spread, and then make this like a tighter cone of fire, like give it a better choke or something, so that it can actually kind of be used at range relative to the other shotguns. I would also like to see like some minor pistol rebalancing. I think the 1911 should have higher damage. The revolver having the highest damage, I think, is fine because it has the slowest reload. But the 1911, I think, should either have very high or excellent damage. I would actually be fine with it having excellent damage because it is balanced by its blocky iron sights, as well as the fact that it only has 7 loaded and you can throw ammo out if you're careless. The throwing ammo out thing, so relative to the revolver, if it had the same damage, it has the risk of wasting ammo on accident, and it only has 1 more capacity. So I think it'd be fine if it hits excellent damage at pristine. Very high at the least, because right now it shares high damage with a 9 mil, but 1911s usually shoot 45 ACP, so that's kind of an issue, I think. I would buff that though. The bow, I would like to see some things done to this. I would like to see like poison arrows, burning arrows, razor arrows, some kind of way of applying effects to arrows in general. Maybe there's like a new perk for bow where you can like apply poison or something for like the next 5 shots or something like that. And then it just, so that way you don't have to have like unique poison arrows or whatever. Something interesting, something different. Uh, Burning arrows, maybe even like explosive arrows or something, like attaching a sticky grenade to the bow or whatever, or to the arrow, so that it can be used against robots and turrets. I think that would be pretty cool. Another thing that I would really like to see is the 22 rework. So the 22 right now has the lowest damage of all firearms, and it has really high accuracy, which doesn't really seem to be that like important of a stat in this game. But what I would like to see from the 22 is for it to have its own ammo type. Now I know the devs probably don't want to add a whole new ammo type, but it could fit in the UI. Like you could condense the ammo types together. But I feel like 22 should use its own ammo. It's single shot, or maybe make it use SMG ammo. It could either use pistol or SMG ammo as an alternative, both of which are more common. But I would like it to have cheap, abundant ammo and be this kind of like super low damage option that is only good for headshotting enemies, and that's it. And it's single fire, like it's single shot, so it definitely suffers in terms of actual combat. So I think the issue of it using rifle ammo, which, you know, rifles are really good in this game, is a big problem for it, and it does hold it back from being relevant at all. I think it could be an interesting like single shot headshot gun with cheaper, not really abundant ammo, but more common. Maybe you can hold like 150 22 ammo and you get it in like large amounts, and you know, it can be something. And then maybe there's like another pistol, like a 22 pistol, possibly. Obviously this is asking for a lot, but I think that would be an interesting idea, like have like a new weapon category of like low damage spam weapon that could be used for killing like junk enemies or just going for headshots only. Something to kind of leverage the low damage. I think that could be pretty interesting. For the double barrel, I would like to see it have very high damage. I think it's almost fine, but its big issue is the high damage is usually not enough combined with its spread to kill. Its cone of fire is pretty extreme, but I think if it was put on very high damage or even excellent damage, that would be fine. Basically, I think this should be 2 close range, near guaranteed kills, but beyond close range, it's terrible. And then this shotgun should be like a kind of like sniper rifle almost. Or maybe make this like a slug gun. That would be interesting. Make it still use shotgun ammo, but have it be a slug gun. So that way it can actually snipe and be like a single shot. You know, because it says high range, but the range never matters because of spread. The spread holds it back, and the fact that it's single shot, it can't make follow-up shots without reloading. So I think those are some of the major issues. So what else would we want? So for melee weapons, I think on the topic of melee, I would like to see like a great sword, and I would like to see a spear. I think a spear would be really fun in this game. So the spear would have, like, let's say melee range. Normal melee range is like here with a two-handed weapon. Spear could maybe hit from like a little bit farther back, so you can kind of like stab things. I think that would be very fun. I think most people would agree with that. Other things too, like a flail maybe, and the flail could just be like a unique that looks cool and just has like good stats. I would like to see better one-handed melee weapons. Currently, I don't think any one-handed melees go above high damage, which prevents them from one-shotting, which does kind of hold them back. So I would like to see like more interesting, you know, one-handed melees that can actually like one-shot. Maybe even like a dagger or something that can one tap with a headshot, because the dagger range is closer. There's also a thing of like the throwing weapons. I think the throwing weapons could be redone somewhat. Did I never notice this? This backpack with training stimulants in it. Like about to complete the game on the save file. So more melee weapons, more interesting melees. Maybe different types of bows. Like right now there's like a recurve, right? Maybe like a long bow, maybe a short bow. The long bow could have more damage. The short bow could have faster draw but less range. So yeah, this is a recurve. So maybe different types of bows. Maybe even a crossbow. Crossbow would be interesting. So then the crossbow could make use of the bow perks. Obviously not the draw weight, but maybe it could crank faster or something. So I think those could be interesting things to add to kind of expand bows. I think options for bows would be cool. Even just a long bow that has very high damage and draws slower and has more range would be sick. A short bow would also be cool. Alternate arrows would be cool. Spear would be awesome. And it wouldn't be that hard to animate. It's just stabbing animations. So you'd have like a thrust, and then you'd have like a heavy thrust where you like charge up. And then you could actually like aim at the enemy's head and get like a heavy thrust headshot to like one tap. I think that'd be really sick. It would also allow you to stab turrets, because one of the big issues with melee right now is it can destroy robots, we have found, but the turret problem of not being able to hit turrets that are high up with even a two-handed mace is a big issue, and Spear would give melee-only builds a tool to reach those without dipping into grenades or guns or the bow and arrow, which also doesn't really seem to do damage to turrets. But some more versatility on the weapon categories I think would be amazing. But a spear, like, it wouldn't really take that long to make an asset, honestly. Probably like a few hours implementing it, doing the animations would be what would take the longest. But I think it should be able to one-shot, headshot. And then, like, you could have, like, throwing javelins that could one-shot, headshot. So, like, better throwing weapons that could be, like, one-handed or two-handed or whatever. I would also like to see other things, like maybe, well, I don't want to get into, like, items, but there could be things like items that, like, give you stats. Like, maybe there's, like, a helmet that gives you, like, a slight damage reduction, and you have it as, it takes up a space in your inventory, and you click on it to equip it, and then maybe it has, like, a visual effect where, like, it kind of obscures your vision a bit, but it gives you protection and improves your tanking. Or even, like, a piece of armor that takes up a two-handed slot that could be equipped to, like, reduce damage or do some other effect or something. Or maybe even, like, an item that, like, gives you a speed increase or something. Like a consumable or a passive. I think there could be a lot of interesting things could be done with this game. I think it has a good foundation. There was an update recently. I still don't know what it is. They didn't release patch notes or anything. But I do feel like with the good level of investment from the devs, this game could be pushed to being like I already think it's a good game, but I think it could be pushed to being like way more entertaining and engaging than it already is. But some more melee options, some more bow and arrow options. I think that all those things would be cool. I'd love to see a longbow and a spear. That would be like that would be amazing. But obviously, you know, it's up to the devs as to what they want to do. So yeah, definitely comment what you would like to see in the game, what you would like to see changed in the game. If the devs see this, that'd be cool. But if they don't, you know, it's YouTube. You can't assume the developers of games see your videos. So that's it's just for fun, really, just to discuss things. But yeah, definitely like and subscribe if you found this interesting, entertaining, and I'll see you in the next one. Peace.